Hi, this is Victor Simonelli, and you're watching Brand Night TV.
Hi peeps, it's Sergio Flores from the Amsterdam dance event, and we keep on bumping into true legends here. Standing next to me is Mr. Victor Simonelli. Hi Victor.
Hi, great to be here with you.
It's all my pleasure, it's been a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Victor, you have been in the house scene for probably as long as it exists. I mean, you've witnessed the starting of the house scene and stuff. Before you actually came into the house scene, you were already in the music industry, right? You were actually doing stuff with bands and stuff. You were doing editing and stuff as well, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, my really, I'm born into a household full of records. My dad is a collector, so my earliest memories are just digging through his collection. That's not being in the industry professionally, but I was into music and introduced to music just as early as I can remember. My first job in the industry was working at a studio in New York. It was called Shakedown Sounds, owned by Arthur Baker, and that's where I did what you were saying, editing, and which led up to remixing and production and writing. But it all started with editing in the studio. First time I did my edit, I said, "Oh, the light went on. That's how it's done," you know. And and of course, that's when we were cutting tape with razors and just
sticking them together.
That's exactly right. A really great process.
Imagine this, guys, actually cutting a tape with a knife, with a scissor.
Razor.
With a razor. Right. And then sticking it back together. That's the way editing was done at the time.
That's exactly right. And what Arthur liked is he didn't want me to cut the actual masters. He wanted me to copy it and then cut that because
once the master is cut.
Just in case. Just in case.
But you were very renowned for your skills, I remember.
Well, yeah, I put a lot of time into it, and I guess that came with time. I'm thankful that you feel that way, and appreciate that.
Now, this year, we witnessed a lot of old school people being brought into the lights again, being collaborating with younger producers, younger producers discovering their music from back in the days, from the golden days of house music, as we used to say. Do you feel like it's also a good time for you and your label right now?
I think it's a great time. It's funny you say that. It just seems like a whole new beginning. I feel like it's almost 90s all over again. If we talk about maybe, 2000, I don't know, between 8 and 10 years ago, it wasn't that way. And I was asking myself, where did everyone go? It was real difficult finding people that were active and into the music we are. But now, boy, it's really flying high. And like you said, a lot of new kids coming up are into. Wow, I never thought 90s would be sort of 90s would be looked at as classic. Yeah. But it is.
It is.
And I'm finding a lot of people, a lot of 20-something-year-olds wanting to remix a lot of my older stuff in the catalog. And I think it's a great time, and great time for collaborations like that.
But you've always kept true to your sound and continued doing it on your labels like Baseline. Now, do you see also, does it also reflect in the sales? Is it like you can see the sales rising in the records?
I have. I mean, besides that, though, I'm just glad the whole digital thing has gotten its legs now. I mean, I remember 10 years ago, it's really in its infancy. And, you know, we were asking ourselves, how is it going to go? Where is it going here? I mean, vinyl was pretty much, you know, dying. And
it's also coming back, though, vinyl.
It is. You're right about that. And that's really funny. I think the 20-something-year-olds and people new to it, they feel like they missed out on that. And in fact, now that you mention that, I've had people contact me to just do new vinyl releases. And I find that really interesting. I think that's great too. And in regards to sales, yes, it has picked up. It hasn't gotten as good as it was in the peak vinyl days.
Of course.
But it's much better now than it was 10 years ago, digitally speaking, that's for sure.
Now, you was telling me before that you've got like some of the true divas of house music re-recording with you now. Whom are you working with in the moment?
Well, the latest project I'm working on is with Byron Stingley, and this summer I went to Chicago. We recorded him in Chicago, and putting the final touches on the track right now. It should be finished within the next 2 or 3 months. I'm working with longtime friends Kelly Mack and Sam Mack. They're from Jersey. Some of my first productions I did with them as well, and wow, I'm really looking forward to finishing this, because for me, it's a song we've had for years. We just never placed it with the right vocalist, and thought about it for years. Finally, you put Byron with it, and Byron loves it. Did a great job, and I think it's one of the best tunes I've ever worked on. So
Wow.
looking forward to that. Another project I'm working on is Carolyn Harding. We recorded her vocals some time ago, but never got to the production, and putting finishing touches on that one now too.
Sounds great.
Yeah, there's two great artists. They're both amazing.
And style-wise, it's the old school vocal, U.S. vocal garage.
Yeah, U.S. vocal. Yeah, that's what I'm about. I mean, I'm into all kinds of music, but I mean.
No, but I meant it in a positive way.
Yes, of course. I mean, that is positive. Yes, definitely soulful. Coming up in New York, there's just so much that we hear growing up, and I absorbed it all. So, sort of the labeling is something I don't often do, but I know it's looked at that way, soulful house. So yeah.
It's brilliant.
I like to let the music speak for itself. And just working on several compilations for, I should mention my labels. So I have Baseline, Big Tracks, Stellar, Brooklyn Tracks, Unknown, and Brooklyn Tracks. And these are all my labels. They're on Traxsource, Beatport, and just basically always working on releases for these labels. And if it's not my own productions, I always work with other producers as well. I'm always glad to collaborate. Excuse me.
No. Sorry.
Sorry.
Have you got new cats with you as well, like young people that are doing remixes for you that you will be releasing?
Sure. I'm coming up with there's going to be a 21st birthday of Do You Feel Me coming up, and loads of new producers on that. I think who were the last guys you just interviewed?
Chocolate Puma.
Yeah. I think that they remixed it so good a few years back.
That might be.
I think they did. I'm trying. Maybe it came out. I have to look into it. I mean, there's so much in the catalog, but I seem to recall them remixing. Yeah. But yeah, there are a lot of remixes. I'm with some guys. They're over here, Scientists of Sound. There's some new remixes, new to it, and they're remixing a lot of my stuff. But yeah, there's so much talent out there, and I'm always glad to collaborate with people who love it as much as us.
How does it feel to play like old records that you used to feel excited about when you started off, and see the same kind of reaction from this young people now?
It's wonderful, and I mean, seeing younger people re-edit the stuff and remix it it's just really inspiring and encouraging. I just think good music is exactly that, good music, and it goes a long way. If it's good, if it's got love in it, it doesn't matter if we're 100 years from now. I think that people are going to hear that and feel that.
Now, for anyone from the young kids who wants to be involved in the soulful house scene, how would you say he should approach it? Like for a singer or for a DJ or a producer?
Well, I mean, you mean business-wise or music?
Business-wise.
Business-wise, yeah. Basically, let me talk about the way I started. I looked at the labels that I was into, and I approached them with my material, and eventually licensed to various labels that I was into. Back then it was labels like Emotive, 8 Ball, New Groove, Fourth Floor. There were loads. But there's even more today. So I'd suggest to young people and artists that are starting in the industry to look at labels that you like, approach them with your material, and continue to as many as you'd like. I was turned down quite often, and I just continued. If I was turned down by one, I'd go to the next one. I knew it was working because before I went there, I'd test it with DJs that were out there actively playing. And, played at some gigs myself, but that's not enough. I want to see it on other DJs' dance floors as well. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, and I saw that on the dance floor. So when I went to the labels, I was confident about it. And I'd say do that. Spread your material out there as much as possible. And even better, if you get some material out there already and you feel up to it, I mean, start your own label. There's nothing wrong with that. And that involves getting a digital distributor now. Before, it was a bit more difficult because we're talking about physical formats. Like you said, there is still vinyl, but mainly speaking, I mean, it's
Yeah, of course, the big market is
digital
digital.
sales. So it involves a digital distributor. So it's just a matter of creating a nice label and getting with a digital distributor, having a nice amount of material that you could provide them. And I'd say go that route. That's the best.
Perfect.
That's the best route.
Great advice here. Victor, thanks so much for being on the show with us.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Appreciate it.
And we'll bump into each other latest Miami again.
Hey, looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Sergio Flores with the brilliant Victor Simonelli.
Thank you.
Peace out.